folks, it's Sarah with Obadiah's, and today I'm here to do a product comparison for you guys on the Nordica Milly and the Nordica Rosetta. Now this is going to basically be the largest Nordica compared to the smallest Nordica stove. So obviously if you're looking for the biggest option, most heating, largest baking space, then the Milly is going to be your best bet. If you're looking for something super small, you know, maybe like a smaller cabin, you don't bake as much, or you're not using, you know, like large pans, then possibly this Rosetta will be a good option for you. So besides overall size, let's talk about some of the features that are going to vary. First feature is going to be number one, the legs. The Milly is going to be the only model with legs. All other Nordicas are going to have the pedestal base. So maybe if you don't like legs, then that just makes the Milly out. Secondly, the Milly is going to have a centered flue. A lot of the Nordicas have either a left or a right hand flue. So this particular model is going to be shown with a right hand flue, which is going to be basically the standard model on the Nordica. If you have the flue on the right hand side, your firebox will be on the left hand side when facing the front. Now if you have a unique installation where you want the firebox on the opposite side, then that would be the left hand flue, which will then move your firebox to the right hand side when facing the front. When you have that left hand flue, that's going to be called the Sinistra model in the Nordica. So the Rosetta, the smallest model, is available in the Sinistra, and then we also have the Rosa Reverse, which is available in the Sinistra model as well. Otherwise, all the other models on the Nordica are going to be standard with the flue on the right hand side, like shown on this particular model as well. Railings are going to vary a little bit different as well on the Milly. As you can see here, this has a 3-piece wrap railing that goes completely around the stove. This is basically how all the other Nordica stoves are, except for this Milly, which is shown with the 3-piece and the sides here. Now this is nice because these sides are pretty easily removable. Sometimes I get people who like really only want the railing on the front. They don't like how it looks on the side. So, you know, when this is curved like this, you can't really remove that on the other Nordica models like you can on the Milly. So that would be something to keep in mind as well. The Milly doesn't have any type of pan drawer though located below because it's up on the legs and because the door comes up there in full. These pedestal models are going to have this nice drawer that pulls out. This can be a pan drawer for storing your pans for cooking. It could be a drawer for kindling. Or storing anything of that sort. It does not get excessively hot down here. Like it really doesn't exceed probably about 80 degrees, I think, is the maximum temperature I've ever seen. So no worries on combustion there. These models on the side vent models have an additional top clean out here located right there. With the Milly, this is going to have one large cook plate that fully pulls out so you can access the entire cooktop here for the clean out, and that extends above the oven as well. Whereas on the smaller models, you're going to have your little cook plate and then your side oven clean out, which will be located right there, you know, by your flue source. Color options are going to vary as well. The Milly is just available in red or white. This is called Parchment by Nordica, which is more of a cream color. It's not the bright white. So if you're looking for that bright white color, that's basically going to be the Milly, or the Rosa XXL is also available in the pure white. The Rosa XXL does have the center flue as well. It's going to be a bigger model, and then it has the tile side panel. So this Milly, basically the only ceramic on it is going to be on the front, and then on the optional warming oven if you add that. The side panels themselves are just going to be simple black, whereas the other Nordica models are definitely going to have either ceramic tile on the sides or soapstone if your particular model has that option. So I really hope that you guys found this comparison helpful. La Nordica stoves are really excellent for bakers who like to bake at hotter temperatures. So artesian breads, pizzas, things like that, La Nordica stoves are going to be a great option. Something to keep in mind is because these stoves do tend to burn hotter, if you're baking something like a pie or a cake or cupcakes or maybe even cookies, then you're going to want to have that kind of lower heat output. Now I have some people who will say, oh, well then I don't want a La Nordica stove because I won't be able to heat my house and bake cookies. And that's not true, because generally when you're running this stove all day, your house is already going to be warm, right? So if you're running any La Nordica stove on high, so high is like wide open, right? You're not dampered down. You're really only going to get about a 4-hour burn time. So if you know you want to bake like a little bit later in the afternoon, if you're planning for it, it's fine. You can have your roaring hot fire going in the morning, you get your house up to temperature, then as that fire's dying down, that's the time that you want to bake your cookies and your pies and your cakes and that sort of thing. Whereas if you're doing the bread or the pizza, then you'll get that going pretty shortly after you have your hot fire going. Another thing to keep in mind is expectations on getting a cast iron stove up to cooking temperature. So I talk in other videos about, when you have a cast iron stove, weekend cabins and stuff, I don't really recommend it because they need to be heated up slowly. If your stove is already warm and you're going to get it hot for baking those breads or pizzas, probably about 20 to 30 minutes to get it up to temperature. If you're coming back though and your stove is completely cold, it could possibly take 40 minutes to an hour to get the cooktop hot enough that you can actually boil something on it. And possibly even longer to get that baking oven up to the temperature to where you're actually baking. Okay, so these are things to keep and plan in mind. It's not like you just light your fire and within 15 minutes you're going to be up to temperature to bake bread or cake. It does take longer than that. These are heavy stoves. Like this Milly stove is like 570 pounds here. You have to think about heating up this massive amount of cast iron to get your oven up to temperature. Even this smaller stove here is about 400 pounds. So these are things to keep in mind when purchasing a La Nordica stove. I hope that you guys find this information helpful. If you like my videos, give them a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button in the corner of the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless. Have a wonderful day.